What's up, everyone? My name is Sam. Thanks so much for joining the Sanjana Fitness Hatha Yoga YouTube channel today. Today's practice is going to be focused on gratitude and in the physical body, hips and low back. We'll be getting started in a comfortable cross-legged seat when you're ready. If you want to bring a mantra, it might be something like, I have everything I need, or everything I need is within me. Get ready for a grounding practice and I'll meet you there. So feel free to bring a pillow for under your hips if you want. We are going to drop in a cross-legged seat. A version of that is comfortable enough that you can settle into it and find stillness. And so this practice will be about practicing gratitude. Also in the physical body, just grounding through the hips and stretching through the hips. And also the connections between hips and low back and hips and hamstrings. So as you settle in, start to take inventory of how you're feeling in the body, in all the bodies, physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual. Whatever that looks like for you. Start to connect with the breath. Start settling into stillness if you can get there. Feel free to rest your hands on the body wherever is comfortable. You can take a mudra with your fingers, resting the wrist on the knees, or open your hands in your lap. Letting them rest on your heels or ankles. Start to connect with the breath and create this physical space for your practice. But also making space by quieting the mind. I'm going to use this time to practice gratitude, so if you want to incorporate a mantra, it might be something like, I have everything I need, or everything I need is within me. You can take this time to set the tone of your practice with any other mantra. Helps you connect to the body. It helps you practice gratitude. And as you settle in, you might start to say thank you for all the things that you can identify that bring a positive influence to your life, like thank you for my beating heart, or thank you for the breath in my lungs. Maybe thank you for the ability to move, or for the ability to find stillness. And just continue to list those things to yourself as you settle in. You might say, thank you for this quiet space. Thank you for my yoga mat. Thank you for the opportunity to turn inward. Thank you for the opportunity to create this space for myself. So as you settle into that, take a few more moments just to turn inward. Find stillness if you haven't already. Reconnect with the breath. Maybe bat the eyes open if they're closed. Bringing your awareness back to the physical body. Using your mind's eye to introspect, just checking out your spinal alignment, your posture, quality of your breath. And we'll start to take some easy movement here. Remember that all of my cues are just suggestions. This is your practice. Feel free to make it your own. You could start with like some neck rotations or something like this, some shoulder rotations if your body's asking you for it. I'm going to come into a really passive forward fold from my cross-legged seat just by walking my hands forward and away from the body, maybe coming down onto my forearms, maybe interlacing the fingers. Just taking this time to ground down through the hips, staying anchored through the hips. Checking in with what I'm feeling in the hips. You can feel free to incorporate some gentle movement into that fold. Just not bouncing or forcing any shape. Putting your mind's eye especially in the hips, noticing what you feel and where without judgment, without getting overwhelmed. Just checking in. When you feel good about it, you can walk your hands back up toward your legs, toward the body. We're just going to come into a little 90-90 shape here with the knees. So if you remember, I'm going to start with my left shin in front and create a 90-degree angle in that knee, or somewhere near that, something near 90 degrees. And then I'll create another 90-degree angle with my right knee, sending my right foot behind me. So my right thigh is right in line with my hips. And because we're just getting warmed up here, we're going to make this dynamic so you can incorporate some easy organic movement here. And we're going to switch sides as we do that. So maybe leaning over that left shin and then pressing up. Bringing that right hand around behind you. And we're just going to roll through the hips and do the same thing on the second side. So just go ahead and do that at your own pace. I'm going to turn so that you can see both sides. Again, we're just checking in with the hips here. We're making this movement dynamic because it is early in the practice. Your body might be a little stiff. Remember, we're not bouncing or forcing any shape in that dynamic movement. Just checking in with the internal and external rotation of the hips. Feel free to play around with the degree of flexion in both knees. You might notice a different sensation if you bring your heel closer to the body. It might be more challenging if you move your heel further away from the body, opening up that degree of flexion in the knee. Take a couple more iterations just to even it out. And when when you feel good about that, we're going to transition into cat-cow. So just coming onto all fours in the center of your mat. Nice neutral spine. Palms under the shoulders, knees are under the hips. Sync up with the breath. Inhale, drop the belly. Low ribs come down toward the mat. Lift the gaze, roll your shoulders back. Exhale, press into the palms. Low ribs turn inward toward the spine, pressing into the tops of the feet and the heel of the palm. Sync up with your breath, move at your own pace. Notice what you feel and where. We'll move through that a couple more times. And we're going to bring the big toes into touch, walk the knees wide. And we're actually going to send the hips back in a circular rotation toward the heels. So just moving through the hips a little bit, noticing what you feel and where. Feel free to reverse those circles. Even it out. Noticing what you hear, what you feel. And then we'll send the hips all the way back toward the heels, anchor them there, press into the palms. Bring the chest and forehead down to the mat for extended child's pose. Grounding down, rooting down through the earth. Take this moment to adjust where your knees are on the mat based on the sensation that you feel or you want to feel. And take this moment just to say thank you, practice gratitude. Reconnect with the breath and your mantra, if you have one. Press into the fingertips when you're ready. We'll lift the palms, lift the forearms, lift the forehead. And then let's walk the fingertips over to the left side, folding somewhere over that left knee, bringing your forehead down toward the earth. Just noticing what you feel and where. Press into the fingertips to walk over to the right side of the mat. Same thing on that second side. Folding somewhere over that right knee. And just noticing. Press into the fingertips one more time and we'll walk them slowly back through center. From here you can lean forward on the palms, bring the knees closer together under the hips, back in that tabletop position. We'll curl the toes under, press through all 10 toes, send the hips back toward the heels and then extend fully through the knees, coming into downward dog. You can rotate the palms slightly away from each other. So the inside of your elbows are kind of facing forward. Checking in with that flat back position, just noticing what you feel in your first downward dog of the day. Maybe a little tightness, maybe a little stiffness. Feel free to incorporate some dynamic movement here if your body's asking for it. Otherwise, when you're ready, we're going to press into the palms, walk the palms up toward the feet, coming all the way into standing forward fold. Feel free to use some blocks or props if the floor is not accessible to you in this pose. You can also just put your hands above the knees, on the tops of the thighs. Try to bring your chest and torso toward the tops of the thighs. Go ahead and relax the head, the neck, the shoulders. Feel free to just let your hands dangle or clasp opposite elbows with opposite hands. Maybe rotate gently left to right. Notice what you feel and where. You might notice a lengthening in what you perceive as different parts of the body. I would encourage you to notice any connections you feel or long lines of energy through the body. And say thank you. When you feel good about it, nice and relaxed through the low back, stretching through the hamstrings. We'll bring the fingertips back to the mat and walk them out for your downward dog once again. From here, we're going to come into a three-legged dog. So I'll start by planting my left foot somewhere near the midline of the mat, lifting my right foot up toward the ceiling, really reaching, holding that, again, noticing any long lines of energy or sensations, noticing without judgment. And I'll bend into that right knee and bring it all the way up and through between the palms. Lowering the left knee down to the mat, unraveling through that left foot, hinging at the hips to come up to an upright position. All right, so there's a lot of options here in this low lunge. Take this time to connect with both hips in whatever ways you need to. You could just press forward, kind of shifting that right knee forward over the right toes, sinking down into the left hip, maybe walking that left knee or left toes backward. You can stay in that upright position and interlace the fingers on the top of the right thigh, and again, just kind of sink forward into that right hip. Just allowing the sensations of the body to guide you through the pose. Staying connected to the breath, breathing deep into those sensations. So recently we've also practiced a little mini back bend from this pose. If you want to do that, incorporate that into your practice again today. You can let the hands hang down, dangling down from this upright position. Sweep the fingertips forward and overhead, palms facing one another. And then just slightly lean back into that back bend so your fingertips are radiating backwards or backwards and overhead. Check in with the sensations of the body. Shift forward, bring the fingertips back up overhead. And we'll rotate again toward the right side, bringing the right hand behind you. Left hand comes to the top of the right thigh or outside of the right thigh. Just kind of twisting through the spine in the transverse plane. Good, sweep the fingertips back up and overhead, sinking deep into that low lunge again on the right. And then we'll melt the hands down to frame that right foot. Shifting your weight, curl the left toes under, press into all 5 left toes. Lift the left knee, left shin. Send that right foot back for plank. And we'll vinyasa. So you can slowly lower to the belly or lower halfway to chaturanga to upward facing dog, whatever's in your practice today, whatever your body's asking you for. Saying thank you for the ability to practice. Curl the toes under again, send the hips up high and back. Coming back into downward dog. Check in again in downward dog, maybe catch your breath, maybe find stillness. And then we'll do the same thing on the second side. This time planting the right foot somewhere near the midline of the mat. Sliding that left foot all the way up and toward the ceiling. Lifting the gaze to between the palms. Bending into that left knee and bringing that left foot all the way up and through. And then lowering that right knee to the mat. Coming down to the right shin, top of the right foot. Feel free to take any variation here that you want. Go ahead and adjust your front foot or back knee to find the sensations that you're looking for. Or to just be curious and grateful for the ability to feel. So what you did on the first side, I would encourage you to check out on the second side. Whether that's your mini back bend or just sinking deep into that hip. Feeling that compression in the left hip, and extension, lengthening, stretching through the right hip. Also just feeling that connection to the breath. Feeling the support of the earth underneath you. All right, I'm going to come into this mini back bend, sending my hands up and overhead, palms facing one another, reaching up and over. And then I'm going to come into that spinal twist. Dropping my hands down gently, bringing my right hand to the outside edge of the left knee, left thigh, and left hand just opens up behind me, pulling my left shoulder back. If you want to follow me, we'll bring the hands back up overhead, sinking deep into that low lunge, and then melting the hands down to frame that left foot. Curl the right toes under, lift that right knee. Send the left foot back for plank, and we vinyasa. So you can come all the way down to the belly or halfway to upward dog. I'm pressing up for cobra. Melt it back down, curl the toes under, lift the shins, the knees, the thighs, lift the whole body for plank. Hips up high toward the ceiling. Coming back into your downward dog. Just notice if this downward dog is at all different from the first couple you practiced today. If it's not, that's okay. If it is, that's probably not a coincidence. All right, so catch your breath. We're going to come into a pigeon pose next from downward dog, so if you know how to get there, feel free. I'll cue it up by bringing my left foot to the midline of the mat, sliding my right foot all the way up toward the ceiling for that three-legged dog. Lifting my gaze to between the palms, I'm going to bend into my right knee, lead with my right knee, and bring that right knee all the way up and through. Coming down to the outside edge of the right thigh, right hip. Coming into an upright position just by walking my fingertips closer to the body and finding a squareness through the hips. And you can go ahead and adjust that degree of flexion in your right knee by opening it up further or bringing the heel closer to the body, depending on a couple of things. First, on whether or not the sensation is overwhelming you, and on whether or not you can stay in this square upright position without rolling to the right. So if you're rolling to the right, come back to that upright position, bring that right heel closer to the hips, closer to the body. And from here, we're going to fold forward, coming down onto either stacked fists or stacked palms, maybe coming down onto a yoga block or a pillow, or maybe staying in a relatively upright position just with a slight bend in the elbows. All dependent upon what's accessible to your body today and what your body needs. We're never forcing any shape as much as we are listening to sensations and staying grounded in the physical body while quieting the mind. We're always looking for that marriage between ease and effort in yoga so that we can both nurture the bodies and help them grow. As you settle into this pose and turn inward, you might practice gratitude for that ability, the ability to care for yourself and to stimulate growth, the ability to stay disciplined toward your goals. Take as much time as you'd like on this side in this pose. When you're ready to come out, and only when you're ready, you might start just by opening the eyes if they're closed, pressing into the fingertips, and walking the hands up toward the body, toward the hips. We'll come back into the upright version of this pose before we transition to that second side. So just take a second there to feel grounded through the hips. Check in with your stability there. Just reflect, notice if you want to change something next time or on this second side. Can lean forward slightly, putting your weight into your palms and fingertips, bending into the elbows. We'll curl the left toes under, lift that left knee, coming onto the ball of the left foot. Send that right leg back for plank. Walking the hands backward toward the feet to come into downward dog. I cannot talk today. Checking in with your downward dog. Feel free to be curious about what has changed, if anything. Find stillness if you like. Pedal through the feet if you want to. Maybe change your perspective by looking under each shoulder. When you're ready, we'll plant the right foot this time, somewhere near the midline of the mat. Sliding that left foot along the mat and up toward the ceiling for three-legged dog. Same thing on the second side, we'll bend into that left knee. Lead with the left knee to bring it all the way up and through the palms. Coming down onto the hips, I'm walking my right foot back and away from the body a little more, getting adjusted, finding the upright version of this pose first, and then checking in with that degree of flexion in your left knee this time. So if you can't sit squarely through the hips and you're rolling to the left, you should probably try to bring the left heel in toward the hips a little more. Find a good, stable, steady, upright version of this pose. Grab your blocks or pillows before the fold if you need to. And when you're ready, we'll hinge at the hips to fold forward over that left knee, left thigh. Coming down onto stacked palms or stacked fists or your yoga block or a pillow. Or maybe just bending slightly at the elbows, leaning forward over that left knee. Same thing on this side. Let's ground down, root down through the mat. Feel supported by the earth. Feel the fullness of your inhales. And think of something you can say thank you for with your exhales. If you start to get distracted, just notice what's distracting you. Let that go. You might practice gratitude for the ability to let go of memories, let go of anxieties about the future, and to just be here now. Take your time in this pose just to turn inward, to find stillness in the mind and body. Reconnect with the breath. If your eyes are closed, you might gently open them. Bring your awareness through the fingertips and the hands as you press into the yoga mat. And when you're ready, we'll slowly, gently, mindfully come back up to the upright version of this pose, checking in once again with the squareness of the hips, the sensations that you feel there. When you feel good about it, we'll bend into that right knee. Just bring that right knee forward and come back into your cross-legged seat. Just take a second there to regain perspective, settle in, say thank you. Reconnect to the breath. Maybe repeat your mantra. I have everything I need. When you're ready, we'll come back into the 90-90 pose, and this time we will make it more static with longer holds, as opposed to dynamic with gentle movement. So I'm going to turn actually to face the top edge of my mat, or the bottom, depending on your perspective. And setting up once again, we'll open up both knees to about 90 degrees. My left shin is kind of parallel to the short edge of my mat. My right thigh is in line with my right knee. My right hip. Both knees open to 90 degrees. And so from here, this time, I'm just going to fold forward over that front shin and hold it for a little longer than we did in the beginning. If you want some props, blocks, pillows, anything to help you into that, feel free to incorporate those. We're just going to hinge forward at the hips. Hands kind of framing that left shin or maybe a little bit beyond that. Fingertips are kind of radiating outward. Pressing into those fingertips, hinging at the hips, folding gently over that left shin. You can also come down onto the forearms if that's accessible to you, sort of how we did in the seated forward fold earlier. And hold wherever you are for a few mindful breaths, noticing if anything's different this time around. Maybe just the sensations or the degree of flexion in your knee. Maybe the quality of your breath. Staying square through the hips, staying connected to the mat. When you feel ready, we'll press into the fingertips. Bring the hands back up to frame that left shin, and then we'll roll to the second side. So we're just going to swing right through like we did in the beginning. This time opening up with that right shin parallel to the short edge of the mat. About 90 degrees in both knees. And you might notice that one side is very different from the other. My right hip is very different from my left side hip. So be mindful, set yourself up, don't force any shape. It doesn't have to be symmetrical. And in many cases it's not. Just notice what you feel and where, without getting overwhelmed. Breathing deep into the sensations of that right hip this time. And when you're ready, gently walking the hands toward the body. We'll swing that left foot around in front of you, so both feet are together. And from here, we're going to roll to the back to close the practice. So go ahead and get there how you get there. Before we wrap up, we can bring the knees in toward the chest, wrap your arms around them if that's accessible, maybe just grabbing the front of the shins, and just rock gently left to right. Creating a little compression in the front of the hips or in the hip flexors. And then keeping that right knee in tight to your chest, let's extend through the left knee, lower the left heel down toward the mat. Getting long through the hip flexors, and we'll cycle through to the second side. So as I bend into my left knee to bring it up to my chest, I will extend through my right knee fully and gently lower that right heel down to the mat. Feel free to go through that a couple of times. Stretching through one hip and then the other. And then we'll bring both knees up to meet each other. You can let your hands rest gently on the front of the knees here. Let the feet come together. Pressing your back down onto the mat. We'll open up the arms to a T shape, keeping your feet lifted, knees at 90 degrees. And then we're just going to let the knees fall over to the left in a little stack, coming onto the outside edge of the left thigh, left hip. Keeping that right shoulder pinned down to the mat. Checking in with the breath. And then keeping both shoulders anchored to the mat, maybe turning the palms downward for more stability. You're going to engage through the core, lift the knees to roll back through center and over to that second side. Coming to the outside edge of the right hip, right thigh with stacked knees and ankles. So keep that left shoulder pinned to the mat, looking for that nice spinal twist. You can also bring that right hand to the outside edge of the left knee, left thigh, just to kind of let gravity do the work. When you feel satisfied, you can roll back through center or just bring the soles of the feet to the mat. Coming back fully onto the back, extending through the knees. We're going to come into Shavasana or corpse pose, opening up the palms toward the ceiling. Letting the feet, the ankles, the hands, the wrists relax. Saying thank you for the ability to do so. We'll just melt down, ground down, root down into the mat here. Relaxing everything, saying thank you for the stillness. Thank you for the support of the earth. Thank you for the safe space I have created for myself. Thank you for the fullness of my inhales and the ability to say thank you on my exhales. I encourage you to take these mantras and this meditation on gratitude with you throughout your day, throughout your week, throughout your life. It's my secret weapon to staying sane. It's a great tool for grounding and connection and keeping you resilient. I'm going to bring my palms together to rest gently at my forehead. Feel free to join me if it feels right. Just want to recognize that I am leading this practice from unceded Monongahela and Osage territories in what is now Western Pennsylvania. I would encourage you to find out whose indigenous lands you're practicing from and how you can support their ongoing struggles for liberation. I also want to recognize that yoga is an ancient spiritual practice coming from India and Indian culture, so we recognize and honor that heritage without appropriation. We recognize that yoga functions in many ways for many people of the world, including as a community. I thank you so much for being part of my community today. I'm grateful that you're here. I hope you got something you needed. And I hope to see you again soon. Namaste.